This is JavaScript for beginners, and this is session number 7, right? So obviously, this means there have been 6 sessions before this. Let me go ahead and put the chat box in the other window here. There we go. So whatever we are discussing today is a continuation of topics that have been discussed already in the previous sessions. So those of you who are coming in regularly, you hopefully you're able to follow on just fine. Those of you who are coming in just now, you can access the previous recordings in your student dashboard, and then hopefully you'll be able to catch up. Okay. Now, because we are doing programming here, and I only have about 45 minutes, what I do is in these sessions I try to combine as many topics as possible into a single session. So in this session, I'll be tackling two main topics. I'm going to be talking about arrays, which is like a collection of items, and then I'm going to be giving you a small introduction about strings, which is sort of like a array of characters. And strings is very important in any kind of programming situation. And I'm also going to spend some time explaining to you a little bit about bubble sort. Now, before I do that, I thought I will just kind of what I do is, because there is so much information packed here, I am going to share with you a document. If you check the chat box, you'll see that I just sent a PDF document. Antonella, did you get that? Are you able to access it? Are you able to download it? Is that visible to you? I'm going to assume that you're able to get it. So let me go ahead and open that on the screen as well. So here what I've done is I put in a lot of essential links which will be useful for you for your learning. So it's a very big document, so please go through it. It's there in the chat box. Download it before the session is over, because once the Zoom session ends, the chat box disappears. So please remember to download this file. I put essential links and things like that that you will need as a companion piece for this session. So there you go. And the second thing is I also have several projects that I've prepared, which I will be showing to you at the end of this session. Now I have 4 projects for this specific session. So I will be running these projects, and I don't have the time to go through all the projects, but I will run them, and key things I will be able to explain to you. Important things I'll explain within my time limitation. So please remember, but all the links for these projects is provided in the document I shared with you in the chat. So very, very important. You can see here, if you go to the array section of the document, you have all the project links here. And you go to the string section of the document, you have the project links here. So there you go. So if you just click on the link, it'll directly take you to where you can find the code. And if you check the previous sessions, you'll see how to download this code and run it on your computer. So just want to spend a few minutes on that, because a lot of, almost in every session, folks ask me, where do I get the code? If I want more information, where do I go? So I decided, like, at the end of the session, normally I would explain this, but in the end of the session, there may be questions and there's no time to explain this. So what I'm doing from now on is, let me show all this in the beginning itself, where there's a little bit more time, things are a little bit more easy to follow. And so that way, there you go. That's what the one sheet is all about. So that's the basic, folks. As always, you make sure you have Visual Studio Code on your computer to run all the projects, and I'll be running the projects, of course, during the session. So again, how to run projects and all those things have been covered in the previous session. So let's jump into today. So what are we talking about? So the first topic for today's session is arrays in JavaScript. Now I put together some highlights here, so I'm going to quickly go through that. Now, an array is essentially a data structure. Now, a data structure is any kind of, like a combination entity in programming, which allows you to put many things into a single package. It's like, here in this case, array simply means a collection of items. When we talk about arrays, we tell that, they are dynamic, which means the arrays can change as the program continues. So that means you can add items to it, You can remove items from it. You will see all that in the demo project. And obviously you can store different types of data. So let me just get my marker here. You'll see here, again, you'll see that when I show you the demo, I'll show you a array of numbers, and I'll also show you an array of strings. So which means arrays can be used to store different types of data. That's another very important thing about arrays. Now, the next thing you want to understand is arrays are zero index. Now, that part is key. Now, I'll come back to that in a second. Now, heterogeneous elements, it means, as I mentioned here, arrays can hold numbers, it can hold Boolean values, it can hold strings, it can hold objects. So all kind of things can be included in the array. And the last point is arrays are mutable. Mutable means arrays can change. So once you create an array, it doesn't mean it is static. As the program is executing, you are free to modify the contents of the array. There are some functions for that. We'll look at that. Now, what is this index collection? So let me fire up the Paint software and give you like a drawing of how an array looks. Okay, I think that will give you an idea, what does it mean when I keep talking about arrays. So let me make this bigger here. Now, whenever I think about arrays, I always imagine a train. Okay, so you know how a train is. So you have, like train coach. In India, we call it bogies sometimes. So coaches is another standard word. So you have like a train coach, and every coach is linked to another coach like this, isn't it? Like when you go to the train station or you're traveling in a train, usually, even if your seat is, say, somewhere here, you can actually get inside in this train and you can jump. I mean, you can walk, not jump. Sorry, I'm imagining some action movie or something. No, like inside the train, you can go from one box to another box, right? Now, how is that possible? Because every coach is connected to the next coach. So that is why it's a train. So an array is essentially like that. So you have these array indices, right? This is the zeroth box, if you want to call that box. You have the first position, second position, third position. Now, I want to emphasize this, my dear students. Now, please understand, arrays are zero indexed. Okay, this, of all the things I'm teaching you today, the main thing you want to understand is that arrays begin the counting with zero. So arrays start at zero and then go to 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, if you ask me how many items or elements are in this array on the screen, obviously I will say there are 4 items. Why? 1, let me just change the color. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. But now that is counting. But if I want the position, then the position is going to be 0, 1, 2, and 3. Now, this part, I'm kind of repeating it again and again. Other things you'll obviously learn when you practice, when you look at the example code and everything. But I really want to spend the 10 minutes I have focusing on this. So please understand, with arrays, you start with 0, and then you go to 1, 2, 3, like that. Okay, there you go. Just remember that. Please don't forget it. That's the main thing. Once you figure out that, the whole array thing becomes very, very easy to understand. Now, before I go back to the PowerPoint presentation, I also want to emphasize, why are arrays so important? Guys, whatever you do in software development, any kind of backend API, any kind of front end mobile app or website that you're building, at the end of the day, it is all about taking a list of data and then showing it on the screen. That's what every software is. Like for example, I am a huge fan of Formula One. So if I go to the Formula One website right now, what do I see? I see a lot of articles and things like that. Now, if I go here to results, what do I see there? I see a list of races. I see a list of names. I see dates. I see time. I see who won. I see date. Now, what do we have here? All we have are list of data. So this is like an array of information. Now, this information is stored in a database, and this website is taking that data and then showing it on, from the database is taking it and then showing it on the screen. Now, this is why arrays are so important. So if you are able to understand this concept, I will show you a demo, before the end of the session. But arrays is, like collection. I like to use the word collection or list, array, collection, list. They're all like similar things. So please understand. So try to spend more time with arrays, how to play around with it. Use my demo project. I'll also show you how to use AI to learn these things, in a few minutes and things like that. But the main thing is arrays, collections and lists are the basic core of programming. You have to practice a lot of these things. Now, along with learning arrays, you also want to learn for loops. Okay. I believe we touched upon for loops in previous sessions. Today also we are going, I have a demo for bubble sort. I'm going to show for loop there also. So when you're talking about collections, you also want to spend some time practicing with for loops. Okay, so let's come back to the PowerPoint. Now that's the explanation I wanted to give you guys. So there it is. So that's what an array is, index collection, the main thing, heterogeneous elements, which means you can put all kind of information there. And of course, they are mutable. So now there are some common functions that we have in array. Many of these functions are already being used in the demo project. I'll run the projects, of course, at the end of the session. So they're all being used, but I'll quickly go through them one by one and give you some quick explanation also. So the first thing is you have a function called push. Okay, so let me just get my marker here. So push means, you have an array like this. Okay, so if you push, that means the array element will be added to the end of the array. So whenever you're trying to add a new element, now remember I talked about arrays being mutable. Whenever you're trying to add a new element, that is going to the end of the array. So whenever you want to do that, you use the push function. Now this function is used in the demo project, so hopefully you'll download the code and look at it, right? Next, we have a pop function. I'm only going to talk the main functions, right? The main things which are useful right now. So the pop function is the opposite of the push. Now push is for adding items, and the pop is for removing the element from the end. So push is for adding at the end, pop is for removing the element from the end. Let's keep going. So shift and unshift. So this is similar to push and pop, but the difference is push and pop is about doing something at the end of the array, whereas shift and unshift are about adding and removing things in the beginning. Okay, so there you go. Those are the main four functions. There are some extra functions here that I mentioned: for each, map, and filter. Now these are a little bit advanced. I won't go too into it today, but I put the definition there because I wanted you guys to know that is there. But today we're just kind of just doing a quick introduction. So the main things are push, pop, shift, unshift. Push and unshift are useful for adding elements. Okay, you add elements either to the end or the beginning of the array. Then you have pop and shift. Pop will remove the element from the end of the array, and shift will remove the element from the first of the array. So these are the main things about arrays that I wanted to tell you. Now, obviously, array is a very big topic. I don't have the time to go deep into it. However, I have made sure that you have some demo projects where you'll see it in action. So before we move on to the next topic, which is strings, let me quickly show you an array demo so you can see it in action. Whenever you see something happening, I think that helps you learn better. Okay, so remember, make a note of it. I hope you guys have the notebook. I always tell you this, when you're taking the session or when you're watching the recording, remember to have a notebook, make notes and everything. So there you go. So if you go here, okay, all the links are there. Remember I told you, I have already given you the PDF, which has all the link to this code. Okay, I've already downloaded it, so it's easy for me. So there is a project called Array Essentials, December 10th, 2024. Okay. Now don't forget the link is given in the PDF so you can find it. Don't worry about it. Make sure you download it from the chat. So the project you want to look for is Array Essentials. Now, how do you open it? I've already shown this in the previous session, but I'm going to do it again. Right click, go to show more options. You'll get an option called open with VS Code. So we'll open it in VS Code. It opens like this. And then let me make it bigger. I think, many students tell me they want me to zoom in. So let's zoom in. Okay, I think that is big enough, I hope. And then here you have the option index.html. Select that file. And then on the top right corner, you have this tiny, I can't make that bigger. I'm so sorry. There's a tiny button called show preview. So let's go ahead and show preview. And there it is. That's the project. Now I can run the project here itself, but I don't want to run it there. So what I'll do is I'll copy this URL. Again, I've done this in the previous session, so I'm doing it again. Okay, and then I'll go to Firefox. There we go. And I'm going to put this in Firefox. Ah, there it is. So I have a very simple array example here. Now you can see, let me just look at the code first, right? So if you go to script.js, you will see that I have gone ahead and created an array of fruits. So as I mentioned, array can hold any kind of data. Here I am storing names of different fruits. So what I'm doing here, I'm just showing the fruits, using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Now, these sessions are mainly about JavaScript, but if you want to see the output, you have to write some HTML and CSS as well. Now, in the document PDF I sent you, I have given you links about HTML learning and CSS learning. So please use that. But here I'm going to focus on JavaScript only. So I have the array that I told you about. And then what I'm doing is whenever I want to add a new item, see, I told you, right? Push, you can see it here. I talked about it a few minutes ago. So push is going to help me add the fruit to the end of the array. And I'm also using unshift, which is going to help me add the fruit to the beginning of the array. Similarly, I am sure there are a lot of push items here, and then there you go. That's all we are trying to do. Okay, so now let's go ahead and try to see how the project works, correct? So there it is, it's already running. And one more thing, you want to, when you're running a project, remember to go to developer tools. I'm using Firefox, you can use Chrome, any browser you want, and you can see what is happening in the code and things like that. So, something to useful to you. So let's close that. So there it is. You have an array. It's being shown right now. So I will go ahead and add a new fruit. So I'm going to say apple, banana, cherry, guava, right? Guava, Guava, I think. So I'm going to go ahead. There are different buttons here. I can zoom in a little bit. Okay, there you go. I think that is better. So I have a new fruit. I'm going to add it to the end. There you go. That's it. So that is the unshift function doing its job. So let me try to add another fruit, pineapple. So let's go ahead and say pineapple. I have a button called add to start. So click on this. That's it. Easy. See, that's it. Array works really well. And then I can remove, right? I can say remove Goa, gone. Remove from start pineapple, gone. Remove apple, gone. Remove from cherry, gone. Banana gone. Now there is a nice button I've added here called add random fruits. So go ahead and add, there it is. Array is filled up. So this is what I was talking about, array mutability. Mutability means you can manipulate the array as you build your project. Okay, so there you go, guys. That's a quick demo on how to use arrays. The code is all here. HTML is here. CS is here. After the class, go ahead, look at the code. And if you have any questions in the PDF, I've given you links. I have a student community. You can come and ask questions, not a problem. So let's go to the next section of our presentation, which is after arrays, I wanted to give you a very simple introduction about strings. Okay, now just like how an array is a series of items, a string is almost like an array of characters. Okay, so what does that mean really? So let me go back to my painting here. And before I start drawing the painting, let me, drink some water. Okay, hold on. Excellent. Okay, I feel better now. Okay. So I already mentioned an array is essentially like a train. So you have these coaches and they are all linked together. Now, an array can hold anything. Like in the previous example, you saw I have a collection of fruits and you saw add, remove everything. Now, a string is like an array of characters. So let's say I have a let me just draw this, okay? Let me just draw this. I know it's taking a little bit of time to draw this. I'm sorry about it, but I really want to explain things properly. So let's say I want to do a sentence like I am Batman. You know, like in the Batman movie, the Batman is always saying, I am Batman, I am Batman. So that's a sentence, isn't it? That's a string. So it will be like this I in this box, and then a space, nothing there, empty. That's an empty box. Then A, another character in a single box, then M, and then a space for the empty box, and then B, A, T. Let me add two more boxes just to show you, M. I think I have to add two more, A, and then N. So there you go. So a string is ultimately an array of characters, right? So there you go. That's really what a string is. Now again, let's go back to the Formula One website that I told you before. There it is. Okay. Yeah. So once again, what do we see here? Everything you see, no matter what website you go, I'm using the Formula One website as an example because I like Formula One. I follow Formula One. It's like a sports which I watch all the time. So again, what do you see here? This is like an array, and then you have the name of the track, you have the date, you have the name of the driver who won the race, you have the name of the what do you say, car the driver was driving, number of laps in the race. In the racetrack, they do laps. Total time of the race, total time for the winning person, 1 hour, 31 minutes, 44 seconds, right? Uh, I think that's 1 hour, 44. I think it's a best lap or something. It's okay. We don't have to worry about that. So what do we see here, guys? All we are seeing is plenty of string information. That is why strings and arrays are so important. That was my reason to include those two topics together in today's presentation. You have arrays, which are like collection of things, and strings are collection of arrays. So when you're beginning your programming journey, so we are in session number 7 now. So from now on, the sessions are going to get a little bit more and more complex. We are packing a lot of things. The foundation of your complex things begins with strings and arrays. So just remember that, understand strings, learn how to play around with arrays, and everything else becomes very easy. So there are some key points about strings that I have to explain to you. So as I mentioned, with strings, there are many ways to create a string, a single quote, double quote, and backticks. We'll see that in the example code that I'll show you. Strings are immutable. Okay, so in the previous example, I told you that arrays are mutable, they can be changed, but strings, unfortunately, cannot be modified. So that's something that you just have to remember. It's not a big deal, don't worry too much about it. If you don't understand it right away, what is the string is immutable. As you start coding, it'll automatically come to you. So we're not going to go deep into it. It's fine. Just something for you to know. Okay. Now, what are the common operations? And just like in array, you have some common operations. You have push, pop, and all those things. So in strings also, we have some basic common operations. You have concatenation. Now, what is concatenation? Concatenation means you're combining two strings. Like for example, let's say, let me go back to the Paint software here. So concatenation really means, say you have one string, I am, okay, and then you have another string, Batman, okay, and then you add them together and it becomes I am Batman. There you go. That is called string concatenation. So you have 2 strings or 3 strings, 4 strings. There's no limit to it. You can concatenate as many strings as you want. It's a very basic operation. So something that happens with strings. Next thing is you have something called template literals. Template literals is kind of like an advanced concept, and I'm just putting it there just so that that feature is there. So we'll not go too deep into it, not today. But remember, there is something called template literals, which allows you to combine strings with variables. So I'll probably try to do that in a future session, okay? Because as we go, we'll be doing more and more advanced JavaScript. So whatever we are teaching today, I'll be using it in a future project. So right now, just know that there's something called template literals, but today being introduction to strings, we'll not go into that, but I'm sure it'll come up in a future session. Next, length. Obviously, when you are working with strings, you need to know, what is the length of the string. Now, length of the string is like in array we count, right? So here you have I am Batman. So the length of this would be, this is 1, space is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this will be 11 length. Okay, so when you're working with strings, you need all these things. Like, for example, when you enter the password, sometimes you get an error. Oh, password should be 15 characters. So that is like a simple length checking that happens in websites, right? So there you go. That's a length example for you. Then there's an accessing characters. So you have to manipulate characters. You have to manipulate individual letters, which we do in arrays already. So for that, we can use the square bracket notation. So you'll see that in the example code. So these are the main things about strings. Okay. So let me go ahead and show you a demo of the string. So this one now here, I do want to spend some time with the code, show you how the strings are formed, how the functions work. So let's take a deep dive into this one. Okay. So let's go here. Now the project is called String Essentials, December 10th, 2024. That is the project. Okay. I put the link in the PDF. So once again, I'm going to right click. I'm going to open this in VS Code, just like last time. And you have the files index.html, then you have script.js. You can see there's a lot of code going on here. We'll go through it a little bit more. And then obviously you have some CSS as well. So go back to index.html. On the top right corner, there'll be a small, I can't zoom that, I'm really sorry. There's a small button called Show Preview. So use the preview button and you'll get the output. And then let's check out the output. So let's go through it one by one. So I'm going to open this in Firefox. Okay, there it is. I think it's zoomed enough. I think it's it's big enough. I think you can see it. So here I have put some standard string operations one after another. Okay, and as I'm doing it, I'll also go to the code so you get an idea how these string operations work. Okay, so first we need a sentence. Okay, so again, I'm gonna go with I am Batman. Like I am a Batman fan, obviously. So you can put anything you want. I mean, you can put something like, okay, this is, oh, sorry, I clicked something. Sorry, I had a shortcut on my keyboard. Sorry. Oh, there we go. Let me close all this. Okay, yeah. So, wow, there you go. Okay, so I can use any sentence I want. I can do something like, this is a coding session. Okay, and then I can use this then, and there you go. It works. So I'll just go back to using I am Batman. Okay, so there you go. Okay, all right then. Okay, so now what is happening here? So there are some standard string functions that I wanted to show for this session. Okay, so let me go to it one by one and also show you the code where that is happening and how it looks. The first thing is I have the input box, right? So whatever I type, the information is collected from this input box. And then the first function is called toUpperCase. So when I click on this, you'll see here, the whatever you type, it becomes uppercase in the output. Now, where is that happening? So let's jump into the code. And if I go here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I think that is big enough. I think you should be able to see this. I don't want this. Now you see here, I have the input being collected here in line number 10. And you'll also see that I am calling, now the input is stored in this variable here in line number 10 called input text. You'll see that I'm using a const. In a previous session, I explained to you that there are three types you can create variable: let, var, and const. Now here I'm using a const because this is a constant value. I'm not really trying to change it right now, correct? So that's okay. So I can use a const. So what I'm doing is I am taking this variable which contains whatever I typed, and then I'm going to convert that into uppercase. So whatever I type becomes uppercase. Now, if you're like, I'm sure you already know what uppercase means. Uppercase means capital letters, right? So that we're using this function called to uppercase. Now, one question that will come to you when you're practicing is, Jay, where do I find all these different functions? How do I know what is there? Now you have two options, and this is something I've started doing for the last few months, and I think I should start doing it here as well. I want to show you how to use AI. Now, probably you're already using AI in your life, in which case that is great. But I'm an experienced tutor, so there's a way to use AI to get what you want. You should know how to use AI. So let me do one thing, my dear student. Let me change from here. Let me show you how I use AI for coding. And I want you also to do that. Very, very useful. So many projects we are able to do really, really fast. Like when I work for clients and customers in my tutoring sessions, we are using AI a lot. There's nothing wrong with using AI to learn coding. But the important thing is whatever code you get, you should sit and understand, and you should also know how to change it. That's very important, because if AI is writing all the code for you, then what are you doing? So you should not become like that, but you should like to understand, take help. Don't replace yourself, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So let me bring up my AI on the screen. Hold on. Okay, there you go. Now I have this one, right? Now this is the AI that I use. You can use any AI you want. It doesn't matter. I'm using, Chat GPT here. So now here, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I want to understand something. I want to learn something, right? So you can simply say, hello, I want to do some JavaScript. Now this is what is called as, getting the AI ready. So whenever you're trying to use the AI, don't directly go and ask AI what you want. Tell AI what you're trying to do that day. A lot of people don't do this. If you're already doing it, I'm happy for you. But I've seen many students, I'm a tutor, that's what I do in my life. So first thing is you have to tell the AI what is it that you're trying to do that day. So today I'm trying to do JavaScript. Don't just ask the question, oh, AI, tell me about strings. It's very confusing. First tell the AI, like set the context, environment. And then you can tell something like, okay, I am trying to learn about strings. Give me some basic operations related to strings with coding examples. Keep them short. So I say it's like you're talking to somebody. It's okay. You can type as much as you want, no problem. So when I do this, the AI already knows I'm doing JavaScript. So look at that. It gives you only JavaScript examples because it already knows you're trying to do JavaScript. Okay. Now, let's say you're looking at this and you want to practice. Now, in a previous session, I told you, I explained to you that there is an extension called Coca, which you can use for practicing JavaScript. Okay. So that is already there. But what if you want to do something like this? What if you want to build a website like what I'm showing to you? So what do you do with that? Then again, you can take help from AI. So you can go back to AI and you can say, okay, give me the example for concatenation once again. So now I'll only get example for concatenation. I hope you're watching it. Then I'll tell the AI, hey, you know what? Like you're talking to somebody, you can say, can you give this to me in 3 files, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, so I can run it like a website. So now what happens? I told the AI to not just give me the example code, give me the files, not the entire code. so I can see the output, not just look at it. So it gives me 3 files. So see what I'll do, guys. Now, what I'll do is I'll go to my computer. Okay, I'll go here right in front of you. I'll create a new folder in front of you. I'll say, okay, JavaScript demo, right? I'll go inside and I'll open this in VS Code. And here I'll quickly create 3 files, index.html, right? That's what it says here with AI, right? Look at this, index.html, and then I have a file called styles.css. There you go. I'll quickly create it. And then I'll come back here. I'll create a third file called script.js. Right now, I'll go back to the AI. I'll take the HTML file, put it in HTML. Look at that. I'll go here. I'll take the CSS, put it here. Okay. And then I'll take JavaScript, put it here. And there you go. I'm doing it a little fast, but I hope you'll watch the recording. Now look at that. All I have to do is there it is. Now this is what I want you to learn. Okay, you can't always be dependent on tutors or things like that. AI can really become your live tutor. It can really help you learn things faster. The main thing is you should know how to talk to AI. Okay, now I have started doing this in all my classes, and I wasn't doing this in AI sessions before, but then I realized, wait a second, I think this is something a lot of people may not know. If you already know, I'm happy for you, but if you don't know, then now you know. So the main thing is asking the right questions, telling the AI what you want, and then the AI will help you. And then once you get the code, taking the code and putting in a project. A lot of people don't seem to know how to do that, but now you know. Okay, and the main thing is once you get the code, you get the output. Oh, you're like, oh, I did it. No, you didn't do it. You just got the code from AI. Your job is to sit and try to understand what is happening here. That is the next step. Like, for example, you have something called here, right? How do you change that? So you should know, like, okay, this is where it is coming from. Then you should be able to go here and you say string concatenation and make changes. Now it says John Doe. How do I make that my name? You should know how to do that. So let's see where it is. Where is that? Where is that? So I go to script.js. Oh, there it is. So I'm going to say my name, Vijaya Simha, and then I'm going to say BR. See, that's the most important thing. Simply taking code from AI is not going to make you a developer. You should know to understand code and make simple changes. That's what really matters. So anyway, so I just want to show that, like how to use AI and all that stuff. Okay. So anyway, coming back, my dear students. So there you go. That is the simple thing I want to show you about AI. Now, so that function, like again, you can go back in AI and say, okay, what are the different basic operations? There you go. See, look at this, uppercase, uppercase, uppercase. Yeah, changing case. There it is. Boom. That's it. So just ask AI when you're learning, hey, what can I do with strings? And you'll get an example and things. That is option number one. So let's say you don't want to use AI, you want to learn like the old-fashioned way, the standard way, book and all. Then you go to the website called MDN. Now, I already put the link in the PDF I gave you. It's already there. So go to the MDN website, go to the search button and search for strings. And here you'll see, look at this, string concatenation, split, tokenize, uppercase, let's see, uppercase. Yeah, there it is, string uppercase. So you can use either AI to do things or you can use the MDN website. The link is already there in your PDF that I shared with you. If you want, I'll put it in the chat now also, not a problem. So there are many ways you can learn about new features. So I'm only giving the basic introduction. That's all the time I have. But the main thing is, where do you go to learn more things? That is what matters. Okay, let's come back here. So once again, let's go back to the main output. So there you go. You have uppercase. Let's try lowercase. So again, there it is. So whatever I typed, it becomes lowercase. Where is the code for this? So let's go ahead and close this. And there we go. Okay. And you can see here you have in line number 16, whatever you typed, you change that to lowercase. Let's keep going. So I also have length. Length, we counted length, right? So there you go, 11. So 1 space is 2, AM 3 4 space is 5, and then Batman is 6. 5 plus 6, 11. That's what you got in 11. Now remember, spaces are counted as well. So if I put more spaces here, then I'm going to get more length because spaces are also counted. Now there is something called trim. Now what trim does is it removes extra spaces. Now I don't know if you saw that, like here, I mean, you can see it, right? Like I have a lot of gap here between I am and Batman. But when I click on trim, you see the output, right? All the extra spaces is completely removed. Now, if I want to, I can put extra spaces at the end like this, and I put length, 44 length. But if I trim it, I get exactly the main things without all the extra spaces. So again, you also have substring. So we get like a part of the string. And finally, you also have replace. So there you go. Replace hello with hi. So I think if I do hello Batman and say replace, it says hi Batman. So what is happening is if you have the word hello, then that word hello is getting replaced to hi. So where is that code? If I go here, I'm sure there's something called replace. There you go. You have a function called replace in line number 41, and then all we do is we take hello and then change hello to hi. So in fact, I can do something. Let me try if I can do that. Like if I say I am Batman and I change that to J, and I can go back and see, I think, I hope it works. If I say hello Batman, I say replace, there you go. Batman becomes hello Batman becomes hello Jay. So simple operations, just to give you a taste of what JavaScript can do. And of course, as I mentioned, we are in session number 7. We have more sessions planned for you. We'll be building some advanced projects eventually, and all this knowledge will combine, and I think you guys will really enjoy it. That is why you want to go back and watch the recordings again and again, all the sessions, practice, and become ready for future sessions and all that. Okay, so there you go. Now again, Antonella has also sent that file. So there you go. It's another opportunity for you to download it. So that's about strings. I have another 5 to 10 minutes to wrap up this session and take questions. So let me quickly go to the last topic of today, guys. So I want to talk a little bit about what is called as bubble sort. Now you know about sorting. Sorting means you have a list of items and then you want to arrange them in ascending or descending order and stuff like that. So there are many algorithms. You'll hear this word algorithms a lot when you learn software development. So algorithms is like steps, is like solutions, which tell you to solve a problem. Okay, like okay, so I have this inhaler. It's winter here in India, so I have cold, and I have this pen. So if I have to sort this in height, so I'll put this shorter one first and the longer one next. So this is like sorting, isn't it? The shorter one comes first and the longer one comes second. So, or if I wanted to reverse, the taller one comes first and then the shorter one comes next. So again, that is sorting. So we do sorting all the time. So again, in the Formula One, if I go to that Formula One website, so again, what are we talking about? Look at this. The first date comes first, then the next date, then the next date, then the next date, then the next date. So again, if I go here and look at constructor standings, what do I see? I see points. The team which got maximum points, then the second maximum, third maximum, fourth maximum. So this is basic sorting. So sorting is a very common thing that is done in programming all the time. So sorting, there are a lot of algorithms available to do it. The simplest, again, this session is for beginners only, right? So for beginner things, we start with what is called as bubble sort. So this is the very first sorting algorithm that you are going to see when you try to become a developer. So bubble sort is simple to understand. All it does is, it again, with a pen example, all it does is it checks if what, like let's say these two things are together. It simply checks, okay, this left side and right side, is left side less than right side? If it is less than right side, nothing will happen because it's already sorted. But imagine it is reverse, and the bubble sort will check, okay, the left side. Oh, okay. For you in the video, it's looking right side. Sorry, it's because of the mirror effect of the camera. So let me do it reverse. Yeah, there you go. So left side is higher than the right side. So what we do is we swap it. Okay, so now the arrangement is correct. So that's what bubble sort does, swapping things to make it ascending or descending depending on the type of sorting you're trying to do. So very, very simple algorithm. Okay, so let's go ahead. I have two projects in bubble sort for you before I wrap up this session. Okay, so I want to go ahead and show you both of them, and after that, if you have any questions, I'll take the questions. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the bubble sort projects. I have two of them for you because I thought you'll like it if I have bubble sort for numbers and I also have bubble sort for strings. I think you're going to like that. So let's go here. Now, if you go to the links I've given you, so you'll see there's a folder called bubble sort integers December 10th. I can't zoom here. I'm sorry about it. Then I have bubble sort strings December 10th. So let's start with integer. Let's look at the code. Let's look at the output. Try to understand what are the different things that are happening. Go a little bit deeper into the code. So here it is. Right click, show more options, open with code. And there we go. This is the bubble sort on the right side. I try to make it a little bit colorful so it looks nice. So there it is. So I have this one here. So let's go ahead and show the preview and put it in Firefox. Okay, so what is happening here? So I have some random numbers. Okay. So I have some random numbers here. I have 50, 23, 9, 18, 61, 32. Now I am implementing bubble sort in this code. So which means I'm doing the basic ascending order. Okay, ascending order means the small number comes first, then the next higher number, then the next higher number, the next higher number, and like that. So which means when I'm done with all this, I should have, so let me just write it down here. Let me get the marker. So 9 should come here, then 18, 23, 32, 50, and finally 61. So that is what should happen when you run the project. Okay, so let's see if it happens. So I have a nice button called Start Bubble Sort. So what I'll do is, let me remove the marker here. Hold on. Okay, so I'm going to start the bubble sort. So there you go. Keep an eye on the numbers. They'll keep shifting. They'll keep changing. It'll take a few seconds. You'll see in the bottom, there is a message which says sorting started. We'll wait for the sorting to complete. So let's wait for it. Use, there it is. Okay, now I hope you saw the numbers were moving as the swapping, the swapping keeps happening. I told you less than, greater than, swap, less than, greater than, swap, less than, greater than, swap. Okay, so there it is. So you see, just like I thought it will happen, 9 is in the beginning. After 9 comes 18. After 18 comes 23. After 23 comes 32, 50, 61. So sorting is working. Now let's look at the code. Where is this magic happening? How is the bubble sort happening? Okay, so let's look at the code. So always go to script.js. That is where we put all the code. Okay. Hold on, let me just erase all the things. Okay, so here you want me to zoom in, I'm sure. So uh, okay, there you go. Voila. So what is happening here? So you'll see there is going to be two for loops. Okay, swapping means we need two for loops. And remember I told you we'll be using for loops a lot. We discussed this in a previous session. So that's how programming works. What was discussed in the previous session will become important today. And what I'm discussing today will become important in future session. So there you go. So what I'm doing is I'm using a for loop. This is the outside for loop. And then I'm using the inside for loop. So two for loops. Okay, because I have to compare, right? I have to compare every number with all the other numbers. So if there are 5 numbers, I have to do 5 into 5, 25 comparisons, isn't it? So there you go. So I have the outside for loop, then I have the inside for loop, and I go and check. Here it is, line number 38. So that is where I'm checking, okay, is this greater and is it lesser? If it is less and greater, then don't swap. But if it is greater, lesser, then do the swap. Okay, just try to understand that, guys. So there you go. You can see here, you have something called swap. So if the swap is there, we go ahead and do the swapping. Okay, so that's the main thing about bubble sort. So swapping things based on the value is greater or less. That's it. That's it. I mean, it looks simple, but the important thing is, if you really want to start your programmer's journey, bubble sort is where you start your journey. So you should be able to do this whole project without taking help from AI, without taking help from anything. You should be able to do it on your own. I'm not saying you should do all this animation. Like, let me try to add another number. So if I say 100 and I add it, then I start the bubble sort. So 100 is already in the end. So it'll just go and sit in the end. So let me try to add, let's say, let's say 55. Okay. Yeah. Okay. There you go. So 55 will go and sit between 50 and 61 after a few minutes. So if you really want to become a developer, guys, the first thing you want to learn is to go up. There you go. 55 is exactly between 50 and 61. So sorting is working. So you should be able to write the bubble sort. Forget about animation colors and all. That's okay if you can't do it. You should be able to do the bubble sort on your own without taking help from AI or looking at the code. That is when you know you're on the right track when it comes to becoming a developer. Okay, I still remember, the first time I started coding, I was 17 years old. That's when I started. I mean, I started coding when I was 15, but real coding started when I was 17. And bubble sort was the first problem I solved. And in those days, there was no internet, nothing, nothing. I just, spent 1 week on my own. And finally, I got bubble sort completely on my own. That is where my developer journey started. I still remember that day. I was so happy and I was so confident, like I did it on my own, without any help from anybody. Happiness, pure joy. So much joy, I still remember it today. Anyway, enough of my stories. I'm getting old. I'm getting old. Sorry. All right, guys. So there you go. That's about bubble sort with numbers. So before I wrap up, I think I still have 5 minutes. Let me show you sorting with strings. Remember, guys, arrays and strings, for loop, variables, swapping, equals. You learn this, you're ready. So let's look at sorting with strings, right? Okay. I'm sorry about the flashback, guys. I'm getting old and I'm getting old. So a lot of flashbacks, a lot of happy flashbacks. Also some sad flashbacks, but mostly happy, I hope. Okay, all right. There you go. This is for sorting strings. So I go here. Let's put that in Firefox. Again, I already have some strings. So let me just go ahead and randomize it. Okay, so there you go. It's all randomized. They're not sorted. So I'll just click on start sorting, just like some basic animation. Uh, you know, so just wait for the sorting to finish. Give it a few seconds. It is happening. It is doing things. There you go. So apple is first, banana is second, grape is third, orange is fourth, and peach is fifth. So I think what is happening is in numbers, we are just checking for which is less than and which is greater than. But with strings, we are checking for the character. So is A before B is before G is before O is before P. Like A B C D E F G H. The alphabet. So we are comparing the position of the alphabet in the string, and depending on the position we are doing a comparison. So usually when you talk about sorting, you usually think of numbers, but I thought when I was preparing this material for the session, I had this idea like, hold on, sorting is not always about numbers. It's also about names, it's also about strings, it's also about objects. Sorting can be applied to a lot of things, right? On your phone book, on your mobile phone, if you open the contacts, you see list of names, you see list of phone numbers also. So you have to sort them, isn't it? So that is why I thought, okay, let me add sorting for strings as well. So let me add another name, another fruit. um fruit, pineapple. Okay, so I'm going to say pineapple. Add it. Okay, and then I'm going to say start. So pineapple should come after peach. So when the sorting is finished, it's already sorted, but we'll wait for the sorting to finish, right? So let's see. Uh, yeah, there you go. Pineapple is already going to be, orange is already there, grapes is already there. I can't think of any other fruits right now. I'll just add my name, guys. So again, name is a string, so I can add J. J should go and sit between grape and orange, isn't it? So G and then J, H I G H I J. Okay, yeah. So if I start sorting this, I am sure grape J will come after grape, but before orange. So we'll wait for it. Wait, is it completed? No, there you go. Yes, it's still sorting. It's still sorting. You can see here, sorting is still happening. We'll wait for it. I think it's done. Hold on. There you go. So just like I expected, J is after grape, but before orange. Sorting. So let's just quickly look at the code here. So what is happening? So once again, you see here, we are simply checking to see if these two characters are greater than or less than, just like it was when we're sorting numbers. Okay, so the whole code is here, folks. I've already given you the links and everything in the PDF. So don't forget to check the code. Okay, and if you check the PDF, there's a student community. Let me just show that to you. The student community, if you go to my that link I sent you, let me just open that document again. Hold on. So if you go to that PDF, if you go to the very first page, they put a lot of links. Let me just zoom in. You'll see that there is a link here called front end for students. Okay, I hope you can see it. So just open this. Oh, sorry, that link is not. Oh, why is that happening? Hold on. Uh, yeah, there it is. Okay. That is so strange. Hold on, guys. That's not right. Hmm. Okay, let me send that link directly to you. I thought that link was working. I don't know. Something may have changed, guys. Hold on. So there we go. There it is. Okay. Okay. All right. So this is the link here, discussions. I'll put that link in the chat. I don't know why it's not working in the PDF. I'll fix that in the next update. So I put it in the chat right now so you can ask questions by coming to this forum. So this is a forum where you can come, ask questions. Usually I reply within 24 hours. So if you have questions, this is the place for you to come. So there you go, my dear students. It's yeah, I think I've 55 minutes. I think I covered everything. The bubble sort, put some information here. And like I said, all the links are there in the PDF. One or two links are not working. I'll fix that in the next update. So I have YouTube channels, I have GitHub code, demo projects. Everything is available on my GitHub website. I put the link there here. So that's my story. So if you have any questions, we still have another 3 minutes. Any questions, let me know. Otherwise, Antonella, we can wrap it up here.
Thank you, Jay. Yes, as he said, if anyone has a question, use the hand reaction to raise a question or leave a comment in the chat. So we have two questions and we have 3 minutes. So let's see if Ismail can tell us what he has to say.
Okay, let's go for it.
Hello, good morning. Good
Hi,
morning,
hi,
sir.
Ismail. Tell me.
I'm fine. Good morning, Antonella, and good morning, everyone.
Dad, what are you doing?
Yeah, my question is this. Sir, since arrays in JavaScript are widely used to store and manipulate data, so how can all elements in an array be checked if they satisfy a condition?
Okay, so Ismail, for that, we are already doing that in our bubble sort. So what you're asking is kind of already solved, which makes my life a little easy. So if I go here, you see here how we have a for loop in line number 32.
Okay, Daddy.
And then whenever you want to check for something, you literally put an if condition right inside the for loop. So that is the easiest way for you to go through all the values in an array and then check a specific value. For example, here we are literally going from the beginning of the array till the end, and then we are checking if the previous element is greater than the next element. Does that make sense, Ismail?
Yes.
So this is how we would do it. So your question, what you're saying is a combination of using for loop and if condition. And what you're asking is actually pretty common. So if you have like a list of fruit or something in a specific array, then obviously you would use a for loop like this, and then you put an if condition for the fruit you are checking for. So the answer to your question is yes, you use a combination of for loop with if condition, and then you, when you get what you want, you can do a console log or show it as an output. Now what you do with that is up to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, all right. And if you really want a
Thank,
code example or something, use the link I sent you, put your question on my GitHub discussion. I can say, I can give you like an entire project and put it as a response to you as well. I can do that also, because now that we have AI, it's so easy to create, a new project. Like before, it would take like 10, 20, or even 30 minutes because I had to sit and code everything. But now I'm able to help even more students because I have all my knowledge, and the AI helps me write all the code. So if you want to see a demo, just put the question in the discussion forum, and I can actually respond by giving you an entire project, not because it is easy for me. My information is in my head. I just need to take help from AI to give you the code. So thanks to AI, I'm able to help even more students, Ismail. And you should start using that as well.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
grateful.
all right. Let's move on to the next person, my friend. Yes.
yes, let's see what CC Jules has to say.
Uh, okay. Thank you very much. First, I started installing the Laravel to use the VS Code, but I progress so much in the process. But once I do the command create Laravel project, I got error message that I will send to you. This is the first question. Whatever my visual code is working because I set a framework with a repository. But I will send you the error to help me to fix the error of Laravel project, uh, Laravel project creating with the visual code. And the second question, can I access to the material, video, document, paper of past 6 session, since the web development is part of my AI major academic course curriculum design in AIU. Maybe I missed some of them during the bachelor and master IT program. Now I'm enrolled in the PhD.
Jules, so what I have done is now the first question you asked me, I am not a Laravel developer, but if you can put the question in my community, I should still be able to help you because Laravel uses JavaScript. So that is something I understand. And as I mentioned, thanks to the benefit of AI, these days I'm able to go beyond my comfort zone. So if you can put your question on the discussion forum, with a GitHub link or something, I'll be able to help you to the extent I can. That's the response to your first question. For the second question, all the AIU session code, I've started putting it in my GitHub. The link I sent you, if you can open that link, let me just open the same link I've sent in the chat.
Thank you.
Open that in browser. If you go here, you see in the top, if you go to front end for students, I have put all the code I'm discussing in all these sessions available every time I do a session. So for example, today's code, if you go to Bootstrap for students, you see here array essentials, bubble sort, strings, bubble sort integer, string essentials. So all the code is already I've already put it in GitHub. So you can access it here, no problem. It is publicly open. That's what I'm trying to say. It is
So,
already there.
how can I access your GitHub framework? How can I get it?
It is open. It is like public. So you just use the link I put in the chat or use the PDF I sent you, and that
Okay.
will bring you to this
Okay.
page. And there are a lot
Okay.
of projects. Like there must be some 30, 40 projects. Take
Thank you.
whatever project is useful to you. If you have any question, right here in the top, There is a button called discussion. Just go here. A lot of students are already asking doubts. You also ask a doubt, and I usually reply within 24 hours.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. And let's answer one more question if you want, Jay.
Sure, sure. Let's do it.
Um,
Let's do it.
from Ibrahim, and we can go. Let's see what Ibrahim has to say.
Did we miss him? Did something happen?
Ibrahim, can you unmute yourself? And let's go with Abdullah Aziz, and we can go.
Good afternoon. Are you hearing me? Also,
Yes, Abdul, I can hear you. Yes. Hello.
yeah,
Can you hear me?
I'm so glad to participate to the course. I'm doing engineering, robotic, and biology. I just ask my question about what is it possible to Java application of Java in application to the remote control for my robotic and for my machine and robotic wireless connection. How to use it? How to apply with Java? It's my working. I'm working about engineering.
Speak now. Can I speak?
Yeah. Are you understanding me?
Antonella, did you get that?
Hello.
No.
I say, are you hearing me? Hello.
No, we are not able to.
Are you hearing me, Professor?
Now, okay, now we can. Yes, yeah. It's a little better.
Yeah, I'm working with Java in the application of Java. I'm working Java in the robotic and robotic and engineering.
Okay.
I would like to know how to use Java. If you can send me mail for having the information in robotic. What is the link with Java and robotic and wireless connection? You can just send me a document.
So
This is my knowledge. So about it.
So Adila, the thing is, guys, before I answer the question, I just realized the document I sent you, because I did it in Microsoft Word, all the links have gone bad. So I just realized that. Oh man. Okay, so I'm just gonna send you. It's a quick thing. I'm sure you can see it on the screen right now. I added a colon, fixing grammar, but for some reason that had made all the links stop working. So 1 second, guys. Let me just send you a new document right now. There you go. That's what you want. 1 second, guys. Let me quickly print it.
You will send me your email.
No, I'll put it in the chat right now. I'll put it in the chat right now. 1 second, guys. Yeah. ARU.
Okay.
One sheet. And I'll answer your question as well. 1 second. I just saw that, guys. I didn't realize that, I did some formatting, but that made all the links go away. Okay, guys, there you go. That's it. It's fixed. So if you check your chat, please download it right now before the session ends. Antonella,
Okay.
I'm sending you a copy as well on the chat. Share it with the students, okay? Guys, but please take it right now from the chat, because when the chat ends, you won't be able to take the document again. So download it right now. And here, now, if you click on the links, see, they are working. It was not working. Sorry about that. Okay, all right. Adela, so to answer your question, my friend, what you're asking about Java. So, Java and JavaScript are completely separate things. So, and I have not worked on Java in my entire life. So I don't have an answer to your question, because I'm not a Java person, because Java is different, JavaScript is different. So I'm sorry, my friend, but like I said, maybe you can take help from AI. That's the best answer I can give you right now.